Hello, welcome to a vintage cube draft. This is the last chance at it before it's all about Rivals of Ixalan. I actually have to re-record over this, so this is not my current voice. The sound got messed up for the whole draft, but we're looking at some planeswalkers. The arts are appearing here for the first time, and then we've got powerful Scarab God. Legion's Landing is one I'm looking at because White Weenie can definitely be a thing, and it's a pretty weak pack overall. The main power here is from the expensive planeswalkers, and they're fine finishers, but they're not amazing. So what else is there? We've got Avacyn's Pilgrim, we've got a Shockland, which isn't as good as the fetches or the duels. So kind of your preference is going to determine what to pick out of packs like this. What has the highest upside? Finally, we look at Goblin Dark Dwellers. 5 mana 4/4, not where you want to be, but if you can return a powerful spell, a Time Walk or something like that, it does get a lot better. So that has some high upside. All right, pack 2, more planeswalkers, or more flip planeswalkers. Jace, similar to Goblin Dark Dwellers in that it brings back a spell that you might want to cast twice, and it's vintage cube, so there's going to be some good spells. Kytheon, much better than our first little aggro card. 2 power for 1 mana, can often get in a lot of damage, especially if you start massing them early in the game and playing a couple of removal spells. So yeah, ultimately I like Jace out of this pack. Just want to make sure we have a grasp for what else we're passing. We don't need to be married to our first pick, so even taking something like Jiraga Tree Speaker here could be good. You see, I'm probably talking about the fetch lands or something, but yeah. Oh no, the planeswalkers, their arts aren't all back. I guess they were back for the first pack, but not anymore. What else do we have here? Thoughtseize is always good. Tolarian Academy can be good mana, but we don't have any artifacts yet. Kind of a build around, but yeah, just you don't always get there. Whereas Magma Jet would be perfect for this deck. It works with both of our first 2 picks, and something like Repeal could also be nice. I like that in a set with Moxes, where you can just cantrip for 1 mana and actually slow your opponent down. It's at its best against tokens. But Magma Jet does the trick. There's a lot of things it kills, and scrying to feels like drawing to some of the time. Here's old reliable Gitaxian Probe. Doesn't matter what deck we're in. It's not even the worst to recast it off of Goblin Dark Dwellers. Seething Song, if you're into Storm, a couple of our cards could work well in a Storm deck. This pack, Koth of the Hammer. Don't miss out on the good planeswalkers when their arts aren't showing up here. I feel like people do that. But that gets me thinking, that's one of the best cards for its deck. And we already have a couple red cards, and even Gitaxian Probe can go into a mono-colored, off-color deck. So I'm looking at that, and the other cards are like Mother of Runes, Olivia, things that we're not set up to take advantage of. So this is how you start drafting red. You get a medium pick of a very powerful card in the archetype. And at this point, I'm not committed to mono red, but Koth is certainly best in mono red. Exquisite Firecraft. 4 damage for 3 mana. Sometimes it's uncounterable, which is a nice touch against a control deck. But that's the bar you're setting. Can your spell do 4 damage? If it can do 4 damage to a player, you just need 5 of those to win the game. That's sort of the power of a mono red deck. Just count to 20. And it's a nice bar to set because some 3 mana spells just don't do that much damage to a player. Hellrider, here's another good one. And I'm excited about this. Both Koth and Hellrider are cards I consider to be on like the top 8 list of red aggro cards in any cube. I mean, Koth is just amazing. It starts hitting immediately for tons of damage, and it just wins after that. Hellrider also comes in with haste, does a minimum of 4 if it gets through, but if you have any other creatures lying around, it's just that much more damage. So, I mean, the other cards in this pack are okay for their respective decks, but nothing like Hellrider for the red deck. Running out of stuff to do, stuff to pick for our deck, but Lotus Bloom can be played in any deck. Delver might go into our deck if we end up with enough fixing for blue-red, because we do have a bunch of spells. And Dismember is another one. We're the aggro deck, so we shouldn't care about the life loss very much. And it's a removal spell for something big, something with a lifelink maybe. Legion's Landing comes back. Augur of Bolas, another good one for the spells deck. Maybe this pack was just light in red cards opened for it. So what don't we want to play against? Well, I guess we could just take a card that might make it into our deck if we don't end up mono red. Gutter Snipe comes back. That's especially good for a version of the red deck playing a couple spells. Just tack on 2 damage to any spell if he survives. Azure goes back. That's our first 1-drop, and 2 power for 1 mana. Quite powerful. Quite a good ratio, power to mana. And those 1-drops, if you're trying to see if a card's good enough to get in the 4 damage, if you cast a 1-drop, 2 power on turn 1, usually that's good for 2 to 4 damage. Avalanche Rider's not quite on the level of Hellrider or Koth, but could make it in the deck. Yeah, not much left here. Rite of Flame. This is not the good ritual effect, because there aren't any other Rite of Flame, so it's never better than, 2 mana for 1. But still could be powerful. All these rituals, no one's in Storm, judging by how many rituals we're getting so late. Treachery, wow, powerful pack. Now, I've highlighted Chain Lightning here because that's the only card we can take good advantage of, besides maybe Sword of Body and Mind. But Chain Lightning's up there in the best cards for mono red. Ugin is a card that's exciting to see, but it's one we'll never be able to cast. And it's a card we could beat. They could exile all our creatures and we finish them off with our Chain Lightnings and Exquisite Firecrafts. But 3 damage for 1 mana is really where you want to be. Magma Jet looks like it doesn't really pass the test of enough damage for the mana. It just does 2, but oftentimes you're drawing a card. I mean, you don't need the extra lands, so it could draw you into your next damage faster, and it turns out it's very powerful for the aggro deck, even if you're just pointing that 2 damage at the player. So yeah, Chain Lightning, pretty easy out of that pack. This pack doesn't have too much in red. Chandra Flamecaller is expensive, but it does have Mana Crypt, and that's going to go especially well in an aggro deck, which is finishing the game early. So losing the flip a couple times, taking 6 or 9 damage off it even, doesn't matter too much, because if your opponent stabilizes to the point where the damage matters, then you've probably already lost. And it's going to help you win those early games. We have enough 4-drops here to make it useful mana. Getting a Koth out on turn 2 sounds nice to me. And I mean, this is what you sign up for a Vintage Cube for. Your opponents are going to be casting stuff that's ridiculous early, and sometimes you get to as well. Oh, not much here. Bonfire of the Damned. Cards like this always end up in my opening hand. Let's see, we've got Eternal Sunshine we're passing to in pack 1. DK, Octung, Yov, Descrub, and Chillip, Sage of Madness, Joe True, and back to us. So what are we doing here? Blood Crypt, Dismember, and just Bonfire. We could take that. I guess it could come in against a big token deck. Now, Eureka's interesting. Lightning Helix. You can do multicolored aggro decks. You just need really solid fixing for it. And we don't have any fixing so far. And the problem is with like an 8/8 mana base, you need to cast all your 1-drops and 2-drops, and you can really miss out on that. So I don't recommend being in 2 colors unless you really do get the fixing. And sometimes you do. It's easy enough. I mean, there's plentiful fixing in the set. But we'll stay on color here and take a pretty boring Jackal Pup that would be bad anywhere outside of the red Fun Police deck and cube. Just keeping an eye on what else we're passing there. Grim Lavamancer and Shrine of Burning Rage in this pack, both of which are up there on the best cards for mono red. Grim Lavamancer, I mean, definitely you could imagine this thing doing 4 damage. You're filling up your graveyard with spells like Probes and Magma Jets. But it might not be as good as Shrine. Shrine's up there, I think, just a bit above Lavamancer, and you can tell me how wrong that is, but it's got to be close, and I take the Shrine here. Not everyone's main decking their enchantment removal, so their artifact and enchantment removal. But sometimes it will run into that kind of stuff. Lightning Bolt, even better than Chain Lightning here, just the original and best. Flametongue Kavu. Flametongue Kavu is okay for the red aggro deck, but it doesn't quite beat out Hellrider and Koth for a place on the top 8 best cards for mono red. Lightning Bolt, okay. Firebolt, worse than Lightning Bolt. Eventually this can end up doing 4 damage, and it's just a 1 mana thing. But to do 4 damage, you're investing 6 mana into it. You don't even always get up to 5 mana to flash it back. And then we have Rishadan Port. Not a big cost to put in our deck. Definitely slows down some opponents when you have the extra mana to do so. You get some threats out early and then shut down the color of mana they need, or put them off their 4th or 5th land. So I like that here over Firebolt. We have some better cards. I will say drafting mono-colored decks can be mostly just point and click. You open the pack, what's the good card for you? Sometimes there's 2, but sometimes there's just 1, like this case. Figure of Destiny is the only card we can really make use of, and it turns out to be pretty powerful. At its best in mono white or mono red, so it can go in both places. Any extra mana can just pump it up to a big late game threat. Sword, funny to see that back. It is a powerful one that'll come in against any blue or red deck, if not start in the main deck. Land Tax, good for the mono white aggro deck. I guess we'll just take whatever. And at this point, when we don't see any red cards left, we're just trying to pick the card that is best against us. What is the best card against us here? Maybe something that can kill our creature, maybe something that can block a couple creatures like Voice. Probably not a big deal. Spyglass is something we could use. Eureka would be fun. We could beat something like Eureka, but if they get too much power in play early, we might not have enough burn to get past it before they kill us. Maze of Ith, we could beat a card like that, and Maze of Ith only slows down their development by putting them off of mana, because that never taps for mana. Well, never say never in Magic. They could have Urborg out and let their Maze tap for black. Here, you know, we don't really care about playing against Ravages, so I try to take Tendrils. You even saw me reserve it, or try to, and we got Ravages of War instead, but whatever. No one's playing Storm anyway, it looks like, so that last pick is not going to hurt us too much. Ravages is something we'd like to play in our deck. Oh no. So this is a pick where not too many people might agree with, but we've got one of the best cards in the set, in Cube, Library of Alexandria. And then we've got one of the best cards, one of the top 8 cards for Mono Red, Sulfuric Vortex. And I just want the Vortex. Library, if you're going to make use of it, it just takes up your turn. And yeah, you can draw more burn and stuff, but the Vortex, it just stops them from gaining life and can easily do 4, 6, 8 damage. This is the definition of reach. Sometimes it makes you lose the game too, but you got to be kind of reckless when you're playing these all-in aggressive strategies. Ulamog is neat. Some other powerful things, and it's funny. Even the Eldrazi are suffering from this Planeswalker art virus. I guess it's any full art kind of thing is suffering from that. So yeah, there's our Vortex. Oh, here we go. Fire Blast. That's up on the list too. 0 mana, 4 damage to a creature or player. Easily finishes a lot of games out of nowhere. And it's just ridiculous how good Fire Blast can be in these types of decks. Hopefully you don't have to use it on a creature before you're winning the game, but I've definitely been there where you've got a couple of small creatures out and you use it on their something because you have to get any damage in. You don't have any lands left after that, and it gets you in an awkward spot for the rest of it. Strip Mine is interesting here too. We already have Rishadan Port. Not much in this pack for us. Even if we had an on-color fetch, that'd be great. Instead we have Sneak Attack, which we can't really make use of. So it might be time to pick a card that we don't want to play against. Westvale Abbey would be good if there were more tokens going on. But a lot of our damage is just from direct damage and spells. Electrolyze is another one we don't want to play against. It's good against some of our early 1-drops and helps people get out of a sticky situation. Progenitus is neat. It's a nice combo card. We can ignore the combo cards largely because the chances your opponents get them aren't that high, or assemble the full combo. Yeah, Rituals here, Needle Spires. Phyrexian Revoker can often be a nice 2-for-1. You just kill a Planeswalker with it effectively, and it is a 2-1 that can attack. So yeah, like this cute little guy here. Looks like a little insect or mantis or something. But don't let him fool you. He bites. Fiery Confluence. We're talking about a card doing 4 damage being pretty good. This thing does 6 damage to your opponent as the base case. And there's a lot of artifacts going around in Vintage Cube especially. And this can destroy up to 3 of those, or any combination. You know, killing creatures maybe isn't what we need to do, but that is the third option. A lot of options for this, because you can mix and match. Arid Mesa is another one I would definitely run in this deck, just for a bit of thinning, if nothing else. But yeah, Fiery Confluence is just too good here. I'm not sure it's quite on the power level of Hellrider and Koth, but it might be. Char, 4 damage, back to the normal 4 damage cards. Reckless Bushwhacker is more of a storm card. You can empty the Warrens and then give them all haste if you have a couple extra mana and this guy. And +1 power, so you only have to make, 8 of those. Well, I guess 9. Or 10, rather, to get in for the win. Eidolon. But for our deck, we'll take Eidolon. We have a lot of cards that will hit us for 2 damage, but hopefully we can kill them before they kill us with those cards. Rishadan Port makes Eidolon a little harder to cast. A couple cards in this pack. We could look at Walking Ballista, but that really doesn't turn online until you get up to 4 mana. Falconwrath Gorger, which is a nice little 1-drop to hit in for some damage, and Dualcaster to copy something like the Confluence, but Dualcaster is kind of expensive and conditional. Sword of Light and Shadow. We already have a better sword in Sword of Body and Mind, so we'll take Abbot. That could help us find our land drops, and has prowess, so it can attack for 3 often enough. Skull Clamp. I'm trying to see how good that is for our deck. Sacrificing something like Jackal Pup and drawing 2 cards is about as well as you can do. We have a few things to sack. Eidolon. Yeah, and just putting it on a creature to make it a 3/1, and if they kill it, you draw a couple cards. That's also good. It's a cheap little interactive spell. Alright, what don't we want to play against? Well, obviously Progenitus, but Huntmaster makes a couple blockers and gains life, so that's really one we don't want to see, being the aggro deck here. High Tide. Storm is no love for Storm here. High Tide and Poetic Ritual. Maybe Mana Tithe is the thing. Now that we have it, we don't have to play around it. Duretti. And not much left here. We can take 1 Reanimator card. Alright. So, mono red, it looks like we got there. Counting all of the cards that I would consider in maybe the top 8 mono red cards, we've got Koth, Fireblast, Hellrider, Sulfuric Vortex is definitely iconically your mono red card. Shrine of Burning Rage. Eidolon probably doesn't make it. Lightning Bolt is definitely on there. Goblin Guide is on there. We didn't get one of those. But we've got Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt, which are both excellent. So this is like 7 of the top 8 best mono red cards that I can think of. So if that's not enough to ruin someone's day, then I don't know what is. So how are we going to build this? It looks like we can get by with 16 mana sources, 16 lands. Our curve tops out at 4. Ignore Fireblast because that's just a free spell. You just need 2 mountains in play to cast it. And since we're mono red, we can afford to play a couple colorless lands, although it does hurt our mana a little bit for things like Figure of Destiny. And then Mana Crypt is just going to lead to some busted starts. So, Eidolon, yeah, I'm looking at the color requirements of some of our things. But this will have 13 mountains, and that'll be enough. That'll be enough. It'll suck to have the hand Mana Crypt, Mutavault, Rishadan Port, but at that point you just mulligan. And then Skull Clamp will help us draw cards, and that is something we can cast off of our colorless sources. Yeah, Gutter Snipe just tacks on 2 damage to all of our spells. It's kind of insane. No reason to be playing any color other than red, and not very easy for us to do so. We've got 1 Inspiring Vantage, which isn't even your best fixing. And we'll have to look at the Sword of Body and Mind for our sideboard. No need to run any black or blue sources for our Phyrexian mana. Yeah, we're just going to be finishing all kinds of games with all of these spells. Just the damage per spell in our deck is potentially ridiculous. Abbot here. There's so many ways to trigger prowess. And so many things to hit off Abbot just for 1 mana or a land. And he's nice because it doesn't say cast, it says play. So you do get the lands off of the Abbot. Alright, well, this definitely looks powerful. And The regular recording should be back available for the actual matches. Round 1. We've got the play, so that's good. Yeah, apparently my audio wasn't working. It looked like it was, but I'll have to record over that if we're going to do this draft. Anyway, sadness, but we'll get our Jackal Pup out here. So we curve into a nice little 2-1 on turn 2. And we'll just have to take a shot in the dark for what to name off of this. You're playing blue, we'll name Jace. Playing red, we'll name whatever card isn't in our pool. That is nuts. Raging Ravine. Okay. Good name. You have to name a non-land card in its defense, so I don't know what to name, but let's see. Llanowar Elves. No. Something bigger. Something different than Llanowar Elves. Oh, whoops. At this point, we just have nothing to go on. We could name a Planeswalker. We could name who knows what. Mox, whatever. Soul Ring. Soul Ring would have been a good name, good thing to name. And, oh, we're just going to destroy this opponent if they don't have some kind of crazy follow-up here. Vortex is just such a nice draw here. It already puts them down to 12. And we're not taking damage anytime soon. At least I caught that, yeah. Before recording the whole thing. So we have to take some damage now, and they're just not doing much. So what can we do? The problem with Chain Lightning is they can pay to attack back. That's not the end of the world. So we get them down to 8 here. And if they do it back to one of our creatures, they're just dead, because then we do it back to them. That's funny. So they just have to end it here. They're like, oh, wow, I'll do it back to you then. What did they do? Okay, they decided better of it. Then, do we want some extra cards? I think we do. Sorry, pup. But we want our land drop. And give him a little Gitaxian Probe here. Probe's weird. It doesn't reveal the cards. You just take a look. So they won't appear in any zone over here to check out. Of course, we know how Gitaxian Probe works. Just ramp. I guess they're getting up to Flame Tongue Kavu here, but you know, they're pretty dead. Since they do have Flame Tongue Kavu, we'll just Skull Clamp this thing. Now they don't get any value. Not bad. They're dead in 3 turns. It doesn't look like they have any way to gain life or bounce Vortex. Eventually they'll get up to Burning of Shinyi. Take a wild guess at how to pronounce that. Yeah, next turn they're just dead to Koth or Hellrider. Hellrider because that puts them at 2. Maybe Koth doesn't kill them. Nice. Short and sweet. Alright, let's bring in the sword. They have enough green there to make me want that protection. And take out Avalanche Riders? Yeah, not a huge fan of that card. Dismember will work against some of their stuff. I could see the Riders being okay in this matchup, but this will be good. Rishadan Port. We'll still start with Mountain. This hand is quite slow. Oops. But one nice way to sort Koth out will be to play Rishadan Port the turn we cast Koth, so we can select any of our mountains to become big. But at this point, we should just be tapping one of their things on their upkeep. So we'll tap Raging Ravine. They need double blue for most of their action. And yeah, while we can't use the mana, it's good enough to just keep them off of their plays. Some kind of teamer deck. Let's get Zergo in there. We're going to need the mana for other stuff later, and it's no point really burning anything this early. Could hold up Fire Blast here, but I'm just F6'd. Nice mana base. Mana Crypt. I like that. Wow, I like that a lot. We can't use the Dwellers this turn so easily. But this will work out. Alright, the way I'm doing it, we're going to untap one of our tapped mountains, because those are the ones we had in play. You can also check this way. Newly controlled, right click. But then we'll just tap down, I don't know, their island or something. Yeah, faster start than I thought. Mana Crypt, just so good. Wait a second, am I falling into a trap? This thing costs enough to activate that I'm not worried. It's 4 to activate, so that they can activate it this turn, but they'd have to use mana from itself. Alright, Kitchen Finks. That's a scary one. I mean, it gains them some life. Heads, obviously. No, we lost the flip. Shoot. So what does Zergo do here? Zergo can attack in and put the figs down for 1 turn. I think we're just going to see what they have going on again. A lot of crazy stuff. Ashiok's surprising to see. Flametongue Kavu is okay. Gutter Snipe. Gutter Snipe's a nice one. Yeah, we're going to do something like Gutter Snipe into Char. And then at some point we'll be able to Dark Dwellers back the Char and finish them off with Fire Blast. We don't need to use Char now. And them getting up to 5 mana isn't a big difference from 4. Putting them off of 4 mana though, that's kind of strong. Maybe we do that. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I could see doing that. Of course, they block Zergo here. Wait, are they dead? 12. Let's see. This does 12 this turn. Char. And if we do this in response, yeah, I guess they're just dead here. Char their face. They take 2. Fire Blast. Sack 2 mountains. And then before they gain the life from Kitchen Finks coming back, they just take the 4. Wow. Short and sweet that game, but the power of... I mean, you see why these cards like Fire Blast are so good. And Koth. Alright. We are back on the play here. And this is a good hand. We'll keep this. It's got some powerful cards. It almost has 20 damage worth of stuff in hand. Let's see. 10, 12, infinite from the shrine. So that works. We'll get an early shrine out too. Let's start the probing. Now is as good a time as ever. And we can take... Well, we can't take anything, but we can see they have a Mox Jet, which is pretty good. And some rituals to get an early Grave Titan. Well, can they get it turn 1? That's 2, 4, 5. No, they can't get it turn 1. But they can get it turn 2. Revoker was a good draw because now we can shut down Mox Jet before they get out Grave Titan. Oh, that might really cripple them. Don't need their upkeep anymore. Yeah, turn 1 they're going for Shelldock. And they would do well not to play Mox Jet here, but who knows why they do that. They're counting their mana up. Cabal Ritual won't add enough right away, but we really need to revoke their Mox and hope they don't draw Black Source. Okay, Mox Jet. There's all kinds of Moxes, but we want the black one. Yeah, these cards act a bit differently depending. This one just says we name a non-land card, and it does stop mana abilities from that card, so no Grave Titan for them this turn, thankfully. Shrine here or Abbot? I like the Abbot a bit better. We'll get that extra damage off of the Shrine, and if we can hit a land, that's just glorious. Yes. Still a race against this Grave Titan. Every bit of damage is going to help us here. We're still counting to 20. Now we only have to do 18. 5, 9, 15. We're at 15 damage in hand. So it looks promising. And they get another blue. It's too bad for them. This one turn is going to make all the difference, I think. We hit again, they go down to 14, and then we actually have enough damage in hand to destroy them. So they discard Cabal Ritual and a Flooded Strand. Or did they already play the Flooded Strand? How does this work? Discard 2 cards. Yeah, they must have discarded it. I'm going to save the Lightning Bolt. It's just going to be better this next turn, especially if we don't draw land. They've got our upkeep. Give us our upkeep back. Give it back to us. Alright, eventually they gave it back to us. Rashadan Port. And I'm not going to worry too much about that. We'll play Shrine. We want to do some of this first main. And then Magma Jet them. This is all for Abbot of Carol Keep there. Getting its prowess. And at this point we just win. Bottom, bottom. Nothing in our deck costs more than 4. Put them at 10. And then without the Shrine of Burning Rage, we still have enough to finish them off here. What I wouldn't want to see is some way to kill all of our lands, because we might lose to that. Here's Grave Titan. It's not going to be soon enough. Because we get them with Fiery Confluence plus Fire Blast this next turn. Cool. This thing always gets a counter. I've played Shrine in non-red decks just as an artifact, and eventually it gets there, I guess. And now it's just well and truly over. So Confluence, just 6 damage. Prowess doesn't matter. Burning Rage doesn't matter. So are we dead? We say yes, you are dead. Yeah, we couldn't have even killed them this turn if it wasn't for the free Fire Blast we have for 4 damage. Anything else we need? If we had some artifact removal, that would be nice. We don't. Not even our Charm does it, but everything else is off color. Spyglass, This names any card, but doesn't stop mana abilities, so it's not quite the same as a Revoker. I guess it's similar to Pithing Needle. Sort of Body and Mind doesn't help against the black, so yeah, I like our setup as it is. They might be... There's a lot you can do with sideboarding in Cube against the extreme aggressive decks like us, if they have any cards in their sideboard that can help. Yeah, I guess this is a good hand. We've got 1 mana and 2 1-drops. And a Probe to draw our 2nd mana. Not as power heavy as our first hand. Certainly the prospects don't look good of a turn 4 Koth. Well, drawing land always helps. So let's see what they have going on. Maybe we'll find something even better to do, or find our Mana Crypt, whatever it is. Wormcoil Engine. That is one we do not want them to resolve. Reanimate Mana Crypt. They have that this next turn with Bazaar. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. But yeah, they just reanimate the Wormcoil. This is going to be a quick one, because I don't see any way we can get around that. It's the lifelink that really beats us down. The best bet might be to get Sulfuric Vortex out and then chump block for a while, but even then we'd need to have done damage already. Well, don't give up hope yet. Yeah, they are getting Wormcoil smartly. If it was against any other deck, they might get the Grave Titan because it just kills us faster. But if they survive, that's the same as killing us. Oh, it's so close. Well, even if we kill the Wormcoil, it doesn't matter. I think we're done with this. We have no way. We just have no way of killing the Wormcoil. Oh well. That single-handedly brings us down. Even if they do nothing for the rest of the game, I think they win. Cool. Back on the play, where we ought to be. So, Spyglass. Choose any card name. We could choose something like Bazaar of Baghdad, and that would stop them from filling up their graveyard. I guess it's no big deal. Back on the play where we ought to be, and a good hand. Good enough. I figure we get this Destiny out, because next turn it'll just be Zergo and make this a 2/2. Start skull clamping things eventually. Hideaway. Don't think... Well, we don't get to see the card anyway, but it's not going to get to the point where they can activate Hideaway. But they had a real decision to make there. Activate. This is a 2/2, and we'll just get Zergo in play. Next turn just depends on what we draw, but likely we'll run out Abbott to hit a land. If it all goes well, are they going to ritual out something huge here? Oh, interesting. Kitesail. Does Kitesail take... It pretty much has to take Dismember. But it could take the Firecraft. We just get to kill the Freebooter more easily. Doesn't bother me too much that they take Dismember here. They could take Skull Clamp, but that doesn't make sense. We just dismember the Freebooter and get it back, yeah. Dark Dwellers. Alright, it's time. Time for the Abbot. Can we hit land again? We deserve it. Yes, nice. And it's even a land we can tap for Skull Clamp. Ridiculous. Prowess, I guess. Not too sad to miss out on prowess, though, I think. Because we'll have stuff to do with our mana next turn. We'll probably Firecraft the freebooter so we can get past the next creature they have. Makes you wonder. Nope, not doing that. Definitely not doing that. Jackal Pup. We can't activate the next level of figure. So I like just attacking in here. What they could do is block Abbot, which makes sense, but it gives us our thing back. And then Jackal Pup, and we missed our land drop here, and Jackal Pup's our worst creature, so I'm just going to throw it under the bus. Draw 2 cards. Avalanche Riders, nice. And we might as well equip something like Zurgo with Skull Clamp in case they wipe our board. Yeah, that worked out well. Riders is good in this matchup. We could either kill their only swamp or try to take care of the Shelduck Isle. Yeah, let's just kill that Baleful Strix. That messes with my plans of attacking and killing them. I like killing the swamp, I think. They have plenty of blue. And again, Shelduck Isle, if that ever gets turned on, we probably lose anyway, because it's 7 turns from now. You're gonna save him? Siren's Ruse? Remand? Like, what is this? Counter Mana Drain? Mana Drain would be good value. We only spent 1 mana on this, but they'll get 3 in their next upkeep. Mana Drain's a good card. I would rather they Mana Drain this than the Riders, to be fair. They must have heard me, so they do nothing here. Oh, that's tough. Alright. They thought a long time, so they might have something. But if we play Hellrider here, we just win. Don't we? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we win. We win. Avalanche Rider. I mean, I guess we win with that next turn anyway. Yeah, let's go for Hellrider. If they don't have the counter magic, we just win. Nice. So, yeah, sometimes you just go for it, and that is good enough. On to the finals. Alright, in the finals versus Aktung. And I guess this is okay to keep. Turn 1 Bell Striker into maybe Revoker so that Abbott isn't dead. Ooh. Yeah, still go with the Bell Striker here. But that might be our turn 2 play. Just Skull Clamp on Zurgo. Attack for 3. Yeah, that worked out really well. We'll do Mutavault because that will have Summoning Sickness until we until it's been in play for a turn. But for now, it can add mana. This is going to be some big ramp deck. The expected matchup. Yeah, you always expect to meet the Fun Police in the finals, right? Someone must be drafting it. And this time it was me. Alright, what have you got? 4 mana on turn 3. That's pretty good. They must have options. Do you think they... Eureka would just completely destroy us. What do we have? A 2-1? Oh, they're giving us more mana. That's funny. That's unexpected. We can name the Caryatid with the Revoker. Our best bet here is just to see if we hit anything off of the Abbot. And then maybe attack with Mutavault or See what else we can do. Hellrider? No, we can't cast it this turn. Oh, that is justice, I suppose. Oh. Yeah, so we're gonna name Sylvan Caryatid here. Sylvan Car. And of course we attack, because they might not block. One time I did that, and my opponent said, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, really. Deal with it." And just funny. Alright, so they've got 4 mana here, and the Ooze is very good in a couple matchups. Any matchup where gaining life is good, but also Reanimator, which is not what we're doing. How much better would it have been if we hit land last turn and Hellrider this turn? You don't have to answer that. But what we're going to do here, because I know the answer, what we're going to do here is just attack and try to get in some small amount of damage. Maybe 6 damage. I mean, Ooze doesn't get any bigger yet. And they want to unlock their Caryatid, which is fair enough, but it does get rid of the Ooze. So, puts them down a bit. I don't expect them winning this game, actually. And part of that's just my hand is terrible. And part of that's because they're getting there. I mean, they're ramping up here. And they cast Thragtusk. You know what? That's almost as bad for us as Wormcoil Engine. So we'll save some time here. Sword of Body and Mind, that's coming in. Spyglass, we can leave that out. And what else are we taking out? I kind of like taking out Avalanche Riders. It doesn't... This is better if it also can take them off a color, but it's pretty late, and Sword of Body and Mind is our new high end. That's totally reasonable here. And they probably have options to sideboard, so I would expect them to take a bit more time than us. We're back and we're on the play. So Redemption. Yeah, this is a nice start. Green is powerful because they are interactive, especially with artifacts and things, but maybe they miss. I mean, they only draw a 7-card hand to begin with, so it can't be everything. Here's the real test. Do we bolt the bird? Of course we do. Always bolt the bird. It wasn't a literal bird, but he's flapping his arms. He's trying. Confluence might catch a few birds itself, but I don't want them to have the 3-mana thing on turn 2. What? Oh, Suspend. They're searching for it. And now we're going to give them some choices, because we'll have a sword in play, and now they have 2 annoying artifacts to deal with, although we don't have anything to equip our sword to. So it's just going to hang out for a while. 3 mana. I guess they couldn't do anything on 3 mana besides cast Search straight up. Yeah, we just have to pass back here. I will Magma Jet their face to scry a couple. And I'm also leaving back Fiery Confluence, because 6 damage to them is the mode we'd love to use, but only if it's killing them. Let's see if they're mono green here. Yeah, they're just mono green. And there's not only good green creatures, but good artifacts and things. Now that makes me happy, because Fiery Confluence is going to kill their 8/8. It's going to kill their 8/8 and do 4 to them. So what do we scry here? Ooh, Abbot? Well, we do need a creature. I'll top the Abbot, yeah. We're not going to play it this turn, but we'll play it eventually. We don't, I mean, if we had a little more mana, maybe we would. But yeah, we're going to do this. Destroy artifact and 2 damage to each opponent. That's our artifact. That's the target. Shrine gets even bigger. They're just going to kill our shrine somehow. And we're going to lose all of our potential damage. Ah, that was good. That was good value. Good, clean fun there. Thragtusk. All right, we're not conceding instantly to it this time. Because we've got the protection. Oh, no. You know what? I'm going to do Abbot first. Because that gets our sword on something. And it gets us a free land. Very nice. So we get our sword on. And they're all green. The only thing they could do to interact with Abbot is to kill the sword or to get some big artifact creature. And Garruk, that's cute. Yeah, nice try. The problem is I really want to hit Garruk here. Maybe we can do it all. Maybe we can do it all. And here's how we do it all. We get Hellrider. We re-equip the sword to the Hellrider. Attack them with both. Redirect. Redirect the Hellrider damage to Garruk and end up still hitting them with the sword. So attack them with all. Always yield to this, and for each one of these pings, we're going to hit that Garruk. So yes. Yes, you got to be careful sometimes doing this, but they're at high enough life total that we don't want them to have Garruk in play for too many more turns. I mean, of course they block the poor Abbot, but hitting them with the Hellrider replaces the Abbot anyway, right? Because they mill 10, and then, ooh, Natural Order. They're a good deck there. And it gets our Wolf. Batterskull, too. So that might be one they even brought out of the sideboard against us, because they might have better things, but no way. Are we dead to this? This is true power. It's exact damage. Well played. Yeah, that was nuts. 12 plus 8. And they all have trample. Dang, one more turn. Alright, well, that was a fun little draft. And the last bit of vintage cube for this time around. Good luck in your live cubes or whatever, but also the Rivals pre-release. If you haven't already done it, just have fun with Rivals in general.